Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning, one and all. Manchester United have reportedly submitted a new bid in excess of 60 million euros for the Brazilian winger, the Ajax international Antony. Of course, there are reports that Man United have pulled out of this deal due to the 100 million euro asking price that Ajax have set. So we're going to delve into this news story this morning. Have Man United really walked away, or is this public negotiations 101? We're also going to take a look at the Sesko situation with Man United seemingly having a fee set to them. A new claim this morning that they are in pole position to sign the player. The price has been set, and that Manchester United have been in deep talks with the agent. On top of that, there are alternatives to Antony. Some loose reports today of Pedro Neto being a target if Antony cannot be signed. Man United are active still in this window, are looking for new players. We're taking your calls this morning live on the Football Terrace. Make sure that like button has been smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Good morning and welcome back, everybody. I hope you're having wonderful starts to your Friday. The Premier League is 1 week away. 1 week to the return of the glorious, the brilliant, the beautiful Premier League. I can't wait. And I can't wait because I actually like the transfer window when you've got games on at the same time. It makes things even more exciting, especially if teams are losing or teams are winning. It does change the perspective of everybody. Let me know one thing this morning, please. I want to know where you're all watching from today. I want to know where you're at, where your location is, where you're watching. Send me in those details and make sure the like button is being smashed. If we get 850 likes while we're live, we're going to gift away more free memberships from next week. All the new membership content starts to come out for you. So get yourselves signed up, my wonderful, wonderful people. Now, let's delve into these stories today. So, firstly, when it comes to Antony, 2 days ago, Sam Pilgner and a number of journalists reported, Mark Goldbridge, as a content creator, said Antony's moving closer. Ajax are willing to reduce their transfer fee. And there was a great deal of excitement amongst the Man United fan base, a huge amount of excitement. Wow, this deal could happen. This deal could cross the line. This deal could get us to where we want to be. I remember making a video on it, and it was on the Monday night or the Tuesday night. Might have been the Tuesday night. I made the video. It came out Wednesday morning. Great. By about 9:30, 10 a.m. on that Wednesday morning, it was reported that Ajax had increased their asking price from 80 million, not reduced it to over 100 million pounds. And that subsequently led to a kind of meltdown in the Man United fan base. I can't believe it. We've ruined it. It's dead. The same fan base that believed the stories the day before that it was getting closer. And my view didn't really change. I didn't really react to that new 100 million pound asking price per se. My view has been, of course, Ajax are going to say that. Ajax are not going to be happy if they're not going to sit there and say nothing to stories claiming they're willing to accept less than the 80 million euros that they'd already stood on. Why? Because that's public negotiations. Man United would then get sniff of that. They would bid, but they wouldn't bid near the asking price. And they'll kind of open the door for Man United getting involved. So what did they do? No, 100 million euros now. We don't want to sell. Now, what we know is that Antony wants to join Manchester United. We know that he wants to leave. But the great thing about Antony is he's not being a cow son. He's not being unprofessional. He's not trying to force a move away. He's very much working hard, training hard, being a professional at all times. And I think that kind of helps Ajax in many ways because they've not got a player that's trying to force himself out. They haven't got a player who's being difficult and hard to get to sort of control. The The reason I bring this all up, and it's always important to remember the backstory. A lot of people stating, oh, United should have got him earlier. He would have been cheaper. I don't believe so. I believe they would have tried to up the price on this, the same as they upped the price on Lisandro Martinez. Remember, there are 2 or 3 other clubs also circling for Antony. There's a fervent belief that if Man United get a bid tomorrow accepted, let's just say for 65 million, there's a belief in the marketplace that the likes of Chelsea will then come in. So Ajax will then try and create a further bidding war because Man United have set the benchmark for a bid that would be acceptable, so on and so forth. But what's really intriguing this morning is sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. This is an extract here that says the Eredivisie champions can afford to turn down such offers as they're in a strong financial position after selling the likes of Lisandro Martinez, of course, Sebastian Aller, and much, much more. Now Goal have confirmed that Man United have already improved their offer. So this is out this morning, improved their offer from more than 60 million euros that may have been offered from their first bid. However, it does say that Ajax are sticking to their asking price as of now. And I think that's the element of the reporting that needs to be remembered. You've got the likes of Laurie Whitwell now claiming that Man United are going to pull out. The likes of Man United are going to look to walk away, as it were. I think Laurie Whitwell said a move for Antony has been ruled out at this stage due to the asking price. Be very mindful of the language. And the hyperbolic mushrooms don't focus on the language. They just see the United have ruled out. They go, that ruled out, it's done. At this stage, what Goal have said is that Ajax are asking for more than Man United's bid as of now. There is a fervent belief out there that Man United can still get this deal done. There's a fervent belief out there that this deal isn't dead. There's a belief out there that Manchester United can still work on this. It may end up being a very late in the window deal. Ajax, maybe they've already agreed in their minds in the boardroom. We will sell, but we want to get every penny possible out of Man United or whoever else may come in. So let's drag this on. It's a strategy. Does it mean the deal will go through? Absolutely not. Is the deal dead? Is the deal off? I don't believe so. And I've seen the reports and I've shared the reports, but I don't believe that deal is absolutely off. Now, it is also reported that Man United are looking at alternatives. As you can see here, there's a report that claims that Man United are reportedly identifying Wolves winger Pedro Neto as an alternative to Antony should the deal not go through. What I am intrigued to see this kind of window this summer is what Man United do in a circumstance where this deal doesn't go through. I am intrigued by it. What do Manchester United do if they can't land Antony? Do they go the full hog? Are Man United in this space of we're going for a number one target and that's it? Or will they go for an alternative? It's very intriguing to see. I want to have a look at your comments here. Pay 100 million, then he's yours. But that's coming from an Arsenal fan, and you guys gush over how much money you save. So why would we just pay the 100 million euros? And I don't think we will pay 100 million euros. And that's the right thing to do. And sometimes as fans, you get kind of excited or you get annoyed or you want deals to go your way. But you also have to look at this from forget what the club are and are not doing. Moralistically, I view it that I want the club to behave how I want it to behave. So that's what should be where my opinion sits primarily. And what I mean by that is I don't want us to overpay for players by extortionate amounts. If a player is valued at 55 million and you pay 60, that's fine. If a player is valued at 25 million and you pay 50 million, that's a madness, double their valuation. I don't want Man United paying 30, 40 million pounds over the market valuation of a player. Because if that player doesn't work out, the drop-off value. So what then happens is their market value stays the same, even though you pay more money for them. And if they don't achieve, their market value drops. So then there's a much bigger differential between what you paid and then now the market value. So the loss is huge. And you can't recoup that loss. So that's where I want Man United to be prudent. That's where I want Man United to be sensible. That's where I want Man United to behave better. Plus, of course, you set precedents for future deals. So I don't want Man United to spend the 100 million euros, but I do want us to land the player. And that's why these things can take time. Let's have a little look at some more of your comments here. People allow themselves to be too easily manipulated by these stories. It's hilarious. Do you know what's funny about it, Ted? I agree with you. I think sometimes when I look at some of these stories, sometimes I look at them and just think to myself, come on, guys. Like, read them and take them as they are. But the reaction's crazy, especially when you're not given... If, for instance, Laurie Whitwell said, I've spoke to Man United this morning and they will not 100% be going in for Antony, it's over, then it's off. But it's always at this stage, as of now, when you see those, I'm still frustrated that football fans don't understand this or ignore it. That just means it's on. That's just public negotiations, and the clubs. Oh no, we're not, and we know that it gets done this way around. So I completely and utterly agree with you there, my friend. Loved all the guys in the show last disrespecting Liverpool low. Wish they were thinking to see. Yeah, listen, no, I don't think anybody was disrespecting Liverpool. I think they were saying that. I'll ask you this question: if Liverpool get rid of Firmino and don't replace him with Mane already leaving, can you win the league title? Do you think you'll win the league title? Not can you win it, because that's obvious you can. Will you win the league title? Is what was being debated last night, my friend. A guy here says a guy scores 1 goal against Liverpool and it's the next biggest thing. Liverpool living in United supporters' heads. But let's move on to this other deal as well. So what we saw just yesterday was this article come out from very credible sources in Slovenia. And I'll tell you why I trust the Slovenian media on this. It says here, Man United have shown great interest in Benjamin Sesko. Sesko's agent held a meeting with RB Salzburg sporting director today to discuss the transfer, and Salzburg want no less than 30 million euros. Now, interestingly, since then, it's now been claimed by further sources that 35 million euros should be able to land the player. And there have been talks, and we know this, between the agents. This has been confirmed by the likes of Laurie Whitwell and Fabrizio Romano. Now, the club are stating, as in Salzburg, that they do not want to sell, which, again, people panic over that statement. Of course, they're going to say they don't want to sell because they can drive the price up. If Salzburg said, yeah, we want to sell, United go, right, well, there's 25 million euros instead then. You know, you've got to understand the nature of this. Now, have Man United just suddenly become interested in Sesko because of his goal against Liverpool? Absolutely not. The links came out before that game and that goal. But of course, Man United fans, including myself, have become excited because we watched him play and there's a talent there. We watched him play and there's a footballer there. We watched him perform, and he's got a good touch. He's got good skill. He strikes the ball well. There's strength. There is raw potential. So, of course, Man United fans will get excited. Of course, Man United fans will think, oh, I fancy a bit of that. I like a bit of that. It's decent. Equally, United fans shouldn't be getting themselves so carried away that they're starting to act and talk and behave like this is going to be, this is going to be the next Haaland. I'm seeing that link, and that's because of the Salzburg situation. But it's intriguing for Man United. They're seemingly, the player is interested, because why would the agent go to Salzburg to seek a price? So firstly, the player wants to join. Therefore, personal terms will be no problem. You then have the situation of the club now kind of setting a price, but equally saying that they don't want to sell, which some people will say, well, that's conflation. That's confusing. It really isn't. It really isn't. It's the club saying to the agent, listen, we need a bid over this amount for us to even consider it, but we don't actually want to sell. Just let them know that. The fact they're saying they don't want to sell and they're setting a price means don't try and get him any cheaper, because it's not going to work. This is basic. If you've been following transfers for more than 1 year, you should know and understand this, because the transfer experts explain this to us all the time. This isn't me educating you. This isn't me acting like I know more than you. This is me just parroting what the professionals tell us week in, week out, and have done for many, many years. So there's certainly an opportunity, There's a comment here from H1 saying, you don't half waffle. Well, it's not waffle, my friend. I think when people call me a waffler, that's someone like you lacking the brain capacity to be able to, if you don't agree with me, actually challenge what I'm saying. So instead of being able to challenge me with an articulate, educated opinion based in an element of fact, what you rather do is personally insult somebody because it makes you feel better about your tiny little brain. But have a good day, HM. And you just got bodied so bad, bruv. Honestly, I'm sorry to do that to you. Especially if like your missus or something is watching. She's probably looking at you going, oh my God. Oh my days. Look at you just did to you, bro. I'm only joking. I'm just playing with you, my guy. But there we go. But this is it. And for me, and Scott's absolutely spot on here. This is the game. And this is the game. And you've got to learn to sit in it. And as I stated at the beginning of the transfer window, and being proven right again and again and again and again and again, is United, it's going to take time for clubs to respect Man United in the transfer market again. So, yes, there's times where we all get giddy, Myrtle madness, and then something falls through. Something takes longer than it needs to. But actually, You're talking about a regime right now trying to fix legacy problems that we've had for a decade now. And what I've been really disappointed with this season, with the Mushroom fans, with some content creators, even some United-based journalists, is how they've painted this false narrative. They're lying to Man United fans that the world was going to be perfect, brilliant, exactly how you want it to be. After 7-8 weeks of the new people being in charge, it's an absolute fallacy. It's an absolute abomination. It's an absolute nonsense. And they know this. And they absolutely know it. And that's the frustrating bit. That's the real frustrating bit. It really, really is. Someone said, why do you trust the Slovenian journalists? Good question. Let me explain why I trust the Slovenian journalists. Because you're not going to see these same journalists tweeting every single day about multiple Premier League, European Champions League level transfers. You won't see it. And the reason that you won't see it is because they are fairly local-based Slovenian media that clearly have a personal connection to this very exciting player to come out of that lovely country. Now, the unknown Brazilian journalist that broke the Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal news, he ain't tweeting every day. There was a Uruguayan journalist whose name now eludes me, who broke the news about Julian Alvarez going to Manchester City days before. Listen, I love the tier ones. I follow them. I listen to their stuff. Days before those guys even sniffed at the deal, this individual was sharing the news. How did he know? Because there's that local connection. Does it mean the deal's going to go through? No, because they haven't stated that the deal is going to go through. But they've told us that the interest is concrete. The agent's talking to Man United and Salzburg, and a base element of the fee has been set. Now, it's on Man United to work on this. Whether Man United will do this deal and look at Antony is another thing. So what you may now see is this deal slow down. Why don't we get him in? Why don't we get him in? Well, because we're still looking at Antony. And it depends whether Ronaldo leaves or not, as to whether we sign one additional attacker or two. If Ronaldo, there's reports, earlier the reports this morning, I haven't even read them yet, that there's a concrete offer now for Ronaldo. Man United got 20 million for Ronaldo and relinquished his wages. There is a distinct possibility United could get Antony and Sesko. There is. We might only end up with one of them, but there's a distinct possibility that both could come in. So you may see a slowing down of the process whilst the Ronaldo situation is resolved. That's where Man United fans need to be a little more patient. They just do. It's simple, basic understanding of transfers. I like your show, bro. Keep up the good work, by the way. I think Pedro Neto and Neves are good players. Any news on any of them heading to United? Interestingly, you say that. One of the alternatives that's linked to Man United is Pedro Neto. And I agree with you, my friend. I think that Pedro Neto is a very talented player. I would like to maybe see him at Man United one day without a shadow of a doubt. I think he's highly talented. I think I don't think output is something that would need to improve, but overall, yeah, I like him. I like him as a football player. I really, really do. So yeah, I wouldn't mind a little bit of that myself. I think, as you say, very, very talented, very, very good on the ball. Premier League proven. You know, he'll only live, because he's in Birmingham. He probably only lives an hour or so away, hour and a half away, really, from because he won't be in the centre of Birmingham, I wouldn't assume. A couple of hours maybe away from Carrington. So easy move. Love your show, Terry. I'm hyped for the Premier League this year. We need to give Erik ten Hag time. Ronaldo can pee off, in my opinion. Will the lovely Jess be on tonight? Potentially, with straight facts. We've got to see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. And I wouldn't speak about that way about Ronaldo, because I think he's a legend of the club. But I'd rather see him gone. I'd rather see him gone than stay. I said that all summer. Stand my ground on it. Because I think listen, is Sesko ever going to be as good as a peak Ronaldo? No. But could Sesko be better than the Ronaldo we have right now? Yeah. He could become better than that. And then you could get 10 years out of him. It's a bet. If you sell Ronaldo for £20 million, which is actually what they're quoting as being, and listen, and Ronaldo's still got market value because he's so commercially viable. And that's, again, people, I can't believe it. 5-6 years into all this information being publicly available, people still ignore the commercial value of a player when it comes to their transfer fee. So weird. 37 wash player. Why is he worth money? Why are you being so dumb, bro? Do you know what I mean? Why are you lowering the IQ of everybody that hears your voice? It's a madness. If United were to raise £20 million for him, you're almost covering the cost of what Sesko is going to cost anyway. So I'd go and get it done, personally. That's what I would do. But that's just me. That's just me. Make sure you're smashing that like button, by the way, people. Very important to TFT that you get that done. Now, we are sponsored today by our friends. Here, as you can see, at Private Internet Access. The Football Terrace #1 choice for your VPN with access to content worldwide, unlimited bandwidth, and it's simple and easy to set up with a 30-day money-back guarantee and 3 months free. Secure all your personal data now. Card details, PIN numbers, thumbprints, face IDs, mother's maiden names, and much more on all of your devices. And the most important thing to look at here is these are all the features. Here's why to choose, PIA, and everything else. But the price, all the Trustpilot scores, so go check out the Trustpilot scores and how good they are. But this is it. $8.99 a month is what you would normally pay for this level of service and security and brilliance. But £1.63 the Football Terrace can give this to you for per month. $1.63 per month. That is ridiculously cheap to protect everything that you hold dear. So at the end of the stream, either scan that QR code you can see there, or click on the link in the description below and get yourself signed up, my people. Go and get that done. Right, I'm going to share the link now. I want you guys to phone in and have your say this morning. It's been a minute. It's been a busy week for me. But I want you guys to phone in and have your say because your opinions matter the most. And I do genuinely mean that. I know a lot of people say it, but I actually mean it. Like, your opinions matter the most. We've done a lot of phone-in shows over the course of this summer, and they will continue as the Premier League season returns and we go on and create more and more content for you. Let's have a little look at some of your comments coming through here as well. Terry, your hairline looks like Man United's future. Thank you. In fact, I haven't looked after it the last few days. I need to get, I say, back on the tablets. They're not really tablets. It's like zinc and vitamin D3 and butane and other things. I just need to been real busy. But there we go. Sorry, there's a funny comment there. Nothing like a Barca fan trolling the channel. Oh, yeah, right. It is what it is. He got schooled. I can't believe United fans want Ronaldo to leave. It's madness. I think people are dumbing it down to real basic levels. It's not about wanting Ronaldo to leave just as a throwaway comment. It's, well, I don't want Ronaldo here because Ronaldo doesn't want to be here. For this rebuild in the beginning, you kind of want players that are bought into the situation. United are not where Arsenal are, who are now ready to start challenging. They're not where Chelsea are, who were Champions League winners a year ago. They're not where Liverpool and City are. United are in 10 years of mess. 10 years of mess that needs fixing. So you don't want to do that with a superstar player kicking and screaming to leave. That's the basics of it. There is the fact that isn't being said by the biggest content creators. The fact that isn't being said by the radio stations and the broadcasters is, to me, an abomination. It's an abomination because that's the cold hard facts. That's it. So yeah, I get your point, my friend, but it isn't about wanting Ronaldo, the player, gone ability-wise. It's about wanting the player who doesn't want to be here to leave the football club. Two very, very, very different conversations indeed. Terry, why are you in the broom cupboard? Oh, this room's going to get decorated real soon. Just a new space. Don't you worry. It's just taking some time. Don't you worry about that. I thought Mark Goldbridge was calling in then. It's somebody with the name Mark Goldbridge's dog. I was like, rah, can you imagine Mark's coming on? I doubt it, though. I doubt it. Nobody at the club thinks Antony needs to be sold. They said every player is for sale for the right price. That goes for every player from any. Look, yeah, we know everybody's for sale. People have to realize that everything in the world is for sale. Like, we're not going to get deep here. I'm going to, like, although we know this happens in a very cruel way, I'm not talking about human beings. I'm just talking about property. And I know people say, you can't call a football player property. Well, actually, you can to a degree. You know that you don't actually buy the player. You buy their registration card. So actually, like, in the real, when you actually boil it down, you don't buy the football player, because that would be like, you know, sort of medieval. You buy the player's player card. That is what transfers between the clubs. You own the rights to it. So that's essentially it. But that is a piece of property. It's a bit of plastic. It's a card. I don't know if it's plastic or paper, but you know what I mean. It's a card. But everything in the world is for sale. Everything. You know, you think about something you own right now, sentimental value, you'd never get rid of it. If someone offered you enough money, you'd sell it. Like, I have some things of my grandfather's which are worth nothing, but I love them. There's this like old-fashioned toy. It's not a toy car. It's a radio There's a car. Weird thing. I've never even turned the radio on. Really beautiful little ornament. It's worth absolutely niche, and I will never get rid of it. I say that, but if some random dude said, listen, there's £5 million for it, that's leaving my house. I'm going to dust it. I'm going to clean it. See you later. Granddad, thank you for giving it to me. You just made me a millionaire. Like, that's the thing. Everything is for sale. I always remember a friend of mine, honestly, he said this was coming. So where I was living in Essex, I was looking to move. I was moving down here to Surrey. And me and my friend were talking. He said, oh, have you read the news? They're building a mosque in your local area. I was like, oh, that's great. He said, oh, why? He said, because I'm gonna get a higher asking price for my house. So why? I said, well, I know this through what happened in another area locally is what you had is lots of Muslim families coming out of London wanting to buy properties in the area. And because of the brilliant way that culture works is the families come together to buy properties in the way of, okay, how much is the house? Say it's, I'm going to make up a price here. Let's say the house is 200,000. Yeah, but I don't want to move. Oh, look, we'll pay you like 210, 220, 230. They pay, there's no mortgage, they don't need a mortgage, they have the money as a family in a community and they buy. All great. And that's exactly what happened to a point where they knocked on my door. And I had a feeling this was going to happen. And it was great news. I'm like, brilliant, can kind of move on. And that's the point. Like I wanted to sell, but all I did is act like I didn't. And I knew that I'd get a better asking price because what this community wanted was to build a community in their area. They were trying to buy whatever houses were available and for sale. My next door neighbor, they knocked on and said, would you be interested in selling? They didn't. My neighbors actually stayed. I actually was down there the other week and saw them. And it's one of those things where it's just, if you say something's not for sale, it really is, whether you want to sell it or not. If they offer enough money, and although my neighbors didn't sell, they just, if they'd have kept on increasing the price, they'd have done it. So yeah, I think from my point of view, everything is for sale at a price and can happen. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. I watched Sesko against Liverpool the other day. Very impressive. He's a bit of a baller and good in the press. Very intelligent in his runs and timing. Yeah, he is. There's a lot of quality in there. There's a lot of quality in there. Barca agenda here. Why is this guy waffling about property? Because it's a relevant point to the claim made by another fan. Oh, you've done yourself again, my bro. Honestly, you know, in your girlfriend's eyes, your penis is shrinking by the second. It's just getting smaller and smaller here. Stop embarrassing yourself, my bro. Please. 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 What is the fee for Sesko? They're talking between, they said minimum, I've seen two reports. One saying minimum of 30 million euros. Another saying 35 million euros will get it, which kind of means both reports are fairly accurate with one another. Yeah, fairly similar to each other. Is this a real estate channel? No, but that isn't the point. Maybe some of you should actually listen to that stuff and maybe you'd understand the transfer market more and you wouldn't get as angry and scream. You know, some of you Chelsea fans saying it, maybe you wouldn't scream at your own clubs. Maybe you wouldn't be asking for Tuchel out if you understood how things actually worked. Education is key. It really is. Why are you all so triggered this morning? What's wrong? I know it's war. What is it? What's wrong, babies? Are you all okay? The Geek here says, a top club have plans each season. These are done a year in advance, and they always have options depending on players wanting out. Chelsea, Man United, Spurs, and Arsenal are all doing things on the fly. Well, I don't think Arsenal are. And you've got to remember, Chelsea, Spurs have had nigh on a year. Well, they've had a year with Petitici to get things in order. So there's no surprise that Spurs and Arsenal and Liverpool and City are in a better position. Chelsea have changed strategy at the beginning of the summer, so it's all new. And Man United's team has been in place for 9 weeks. So this is where the context needs to be applied. But forget, rivals are meant to banter and that's crap. But this is where you should be having, when they get a Man United fan that sits there on TalkSport or a Man United fan that sits there on Sky, what do you think of the window? That's the content that needs to be applied. What we know, because the professionals tell us, is that most deals start a year or so in advance. But Man United haven't had that luxury because it's a brand new team. So Man United are not doing things on the fly. Man United are doing things flat-footed. They're starting from the beginning. So it takes time to build that up. And that would calm Man United fans down. And the mainstream seeing people, articulately explain what's going on and what's going to happen. We know there's going to be holes still. We know there's going to be players missed. We know there's still going to be problems while we're fixing all the issues that the likes of Sky Sports rammed down our necks for 9 years. But what's really triggered me this summer is this notion that it was all going to suddenly be fixed because one new person came in. It's absolute abomination of an opinion. Not you, my friend, but in general. Let's have a look. We're going to go to some calls in a minute. We've got Chelsea local, got Lasso football as well, all backstage ready to come on and have their say. Why is Mark Goldbridge's dog woofing in the comment section? That is one of the maddest things I've seen. Terry, what happened to Louis? Nothing. Louis about. Louis good. He'll be on at some point soon. Man like DJ, how you doing, brother? Says, good morning, Terry. Hope you're well. Any transfer news on Chelsea today? Yeah, going to come a little bit later. I've got quite a lot of stuff in the inbox. I've just got to read through it and assess it and understand it, if that makes sense. And I'm kind of not if I wake up in the morning and I see like stories and I haven't read them fully, haven't had a chance to research them, cross-reference them, send them out to the journalists we talk to and ask for their opinions on them, I tend not to talk about it, if that makes sense, because I want to be as informed on that story as possible. But yeah, more to come on Chelsea later today. We have a super chat that's just come through here, I think. I'm waiting for it to come up on my screen. Here it is. It says, Terry, would you take Overmars after a year at Antwerp? He's close friends with Erik ten Hag. I wouldn't take Overmars now after what he did. Do you get what I mean? I just think, yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, no. We just leave Overmars out of Man United. You just got to do it. You just got to do it. You got to leave him out. Terry, can you explain what makes Cristiano Ronaldo a legend? Really? I mean, there's lots of things you could throw in there, but he was one of the most integral parts, in fact, the best player in the world, in a period where Manchester United did what only one other team has done in Premier League history, and that's to do a three-peat of Premier League titles. On top of that, that team won League Cups, that team got to 2 Champions League finals, and did the thing that only one other team has done in the Premier League, which was the Man United team, was win a Champions League and Premier League double. And in that Premier League, Champions League double year, he was the best player in the world and broke ridiculous goal-scoring records from right midfield, not right inside forward or strikers as they all are now. This was a right winger doing things that wingers had never, ever done in the history of football. He then helped to create a brand new position, which is famous all over the world now, of that kind of inverted winger who was coming in at that back post. Nobody was doing it before him. How do we know this? Because no one was scoring the goals like he was doing. This guy has created positions. This guy has created legacy. This guy has created a social and cultural following that surpasses every footballer in the history of football. And he did this at the base of Manchester United. He helped make us even more famous. He made us hugely successful, scored bags and bags of goals, and gave Man United, was one of the driving forces in giving Manchester United one of the most golden periods in English and British football history. That's why he's a legend. Done. Unless you can rebut that, done. Argument over. Terry, you just waffle. I know, bruv. You and your family are obsessed with waffles, aren't you? Because every time I spend a night with your mum, she cooks me waffles in the morning. It's mad, bruv. You and your family and waffles, bruv. It's crazy. There must be a connection there. Do you know what I mean? Nice bit of maple syrup, a little bit of cream. Love it. Say good morning to Lauren for me as well, mate. She's a good girl. She's a good time girl. She is. Good time girl. It's Ali Osman in the comments. Man, I haven't heard from iTest in a minute. I'd love him to be about. Someone said he is. He might be. He might not be. Right, we're going to go to the first score with Chelsea lad this morning. I want to know what he's thinking and he's feeling. Make sure the like button is being smashed. There's 850 likes, and we're going to give out free memberships, people. Get the likes hit right about now. One of my colleagues at Snack the other day was, oh, you shouldn't really say things about people's mums and stuff on camera. I'm like, well, it's just banter between someone bantering me. I don't really mean it. Ain't my fault. Terry's on fire. Of course I'm on fire this morning. The thing is, as well, I know these guys like me. They're here for every show. It's just banter between, well, not mates, because I don't know them personally, but it's one of them ones. Bring on iTest. Right, Chelsea locals here with us now. What are you saying, mate?
Yo, good morning, Terry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, bro. What do you want to say, my friend?
Oh, I was saying from his last time, bro. I can't hear
Okay.
you.
Oh, you can't hear me.
Bro, it's one way I can't hear nothing you're saying. The other ones.
Okay, go out and come back in. Go out and go. I'm gonna kick you.
What?
Yeah, go out and come. It doesn't know. Go out and come back in. Go back on YouTube. Go out and come back in. Lesso Football TV's on now. What are you saying, my friend?
No, I'm all good, man. How are you doing?
I'm very well. What do you want to say?
Well, I'm a Man United fan, and obviously, we're gonna address this Ronaldo thing, and obviously with the business that we need to still do in this transfer window. I mean, realistically, looking at things, I think he needs to terminate his contract, and then if not, someone else needs to offer that maybe 20 million. I think there's about a rumor about him being offered, I mean, a team offering 20 million for him. So if we can get that sorted and maybe get someone like Sesko in, as a backup striker, obviously, to Martial, and we'll be solid. I mean, my point, or rather my question to you, Terry, who would you rather go with? Signing Antony or De Jong? If you had to choose one, obviously.
De Jong. If that was the choice, if Man United, if it was literally we've got enough money for either De Jong or Antony, which one do you want? I would go with De Jong.
Yeah, because I mean, right wing. Yeah, I mean, with the right wing position, I mean, it's Sancho can play there essentially. I still think we shouldn't get rid of everyone, like in terms of Pelistri and Ahmed and all these guys, because maybe you can get rid of one or two of them, but you can't get rid of all of them.
Well, I think
if we
that's
have
it,
to
mate.
be
And I
honest,
think that's
because those are
no, mate. That's a great point, and that's why I would say I would get De Jong, because we don't have a midfielder anywhere near De Jong's level. We have lots of capable attackers that for a year could score enough goals to have a decent season. We're not winning the league this year, so it's not.
Yeah.
We may not even make the top four if we could be brilliant and not make the top four this year. So I would rather secure a midfielder like De Jong. There's very few of them in the world. It's based on your question, the two. Listen, mate, great call. Thanks for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate. Top man. Thank you. It's a good question, and I'm gonna use that as a poll. Actually, as we say, fan led. We're gonna put this out. Who would you rather Man United sign, Antony or De Jong? So if you've got a choice between the two of them, and you've got to choose between one or the other, I'm going to put a poll out. So you can obviously put it in the comments, but I want to put a poll out as well. Who would you rather sign? Who would you rather Man United sign, Antony or De Jong? That poll is now out now. It's coming. No, hang on. It's not. I'm an idiot. I pressed the wrong button. That poll is now out now for you guys to vote on and have your say on, my people. Make sure like buttons are being smashed. As we've said, share this stream as well across your social media platforms. It's a no-brainer. You need a midfielder. Yeah, look, I agree with you, mate. I agree with you completely. Not everybody would, though, and I want to gauge the. I mean, 73% have already said De Jong, which means there's still nearly 30% of people that would rather Antony. So I'd like to understand why. Next on the show, Mo's with us. Mo's a Man United fan, of course. What are you saying, mate?
How's it going to you, all right?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. Interesting situation with Antony. They're asking for 100 million euros. There's talks of bids of just over 60 million euros that have gone in. What do you make of Man United's approach to this?
I'll say walk away. He's not a £100 million player. I wouldn't even say he's a £70 million player. At best, he's a 45 to 60 million. That's about it. I wouldn't want to go out. Nice. As I said, Terry, I said a couple of weeks ago, like he's only had 2 good seasons at Ajax. With all due respect, it's Ajax. It's not the Italian league, it's not the Spanish league, and it's certainly not the English league. So to spend £70 million on a player that is still getting there, and to bring him in and say, okay, cool, you're the main star of My United. There's no phasing him in, there's no bedding him in like that. There's nothing like that. There's no preseason, nothing. Like, here you go, mate. He's just start. Go ahead and kill it. Yeah, Ten Hag's been his manager. It's a different environment. It's a different country. It's a different culture. So, no, 100 million, no way. 70 million, no way. I'll say at max is what 55 million, 50 million, 55 million. That should be enough for them, you know. Anything over 60, Terry, 70, 80 million, no way. I would just say walk away from the deal. As for the Frankie De Jong deal, it's time. I was watching speaking to a couple of guys yesterday, and they Man United do have alternatives. That's what people have been hearing, that United do have alternatives. So it's good. It's gonna get to, at the moment they're patient, but Terry, it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to walk away, Terry. It's gonna be ridiculous. It's a saga, like Sky Sports said.
Well it is. I think it is. I mean, it depends on what you want to listen to, though. If you actually listen to what what TalkSport have said, if you listen to what Rob Blanchett said yesterday, even the Spanish press, who very reluctantly reported on the kind of the deferred wages is like almost ignored by the Spanish media, which is why a lot of the Barca fans keep attacking the British media and English football fans who keep talking about, well, we're not even speaking about it over here. And of course they're not, because why would you keep perpetuating how poorly the morals of Barcelona are? But what's been reported is that, you know, the agent has said that this is it's almost extortion what you're doing to Frankie de Jong. And according to the same outlet that said that the player is going to reject Man United, their words yesterday were, the conflict of interest between Frankie de Jong and Barcelona will be resolved in the coming days. Man United and Chelsea are in pole position, but Bayern Munich cannot be ruled out. My view's more this, my friend. I've always said all summer, I've had my moments where I've got worried, my moments where I've been annoyed, but my message has been consistent all summer. I think Frankie de Jong will leave. If based on take a pay cut or leave, I think he'll end up leaving. However, I'm more concerned about a Chelsea or a Bayern Munich swooping him and taking him away. That's always been more of my concern. I think he's open to joining Man United. I'm happy for us to wait if it's the number one target, because I think Barca will sell him. What I'm scared of is Chelsea or Bayern Munich going, all right, we'll match the bid, boom, because they will take him away from Man United, no doubt. And your point on Antony being worth 100 million, listen, how much better? I mean, he's a different type of player. But when you look at someone like Sesko, who is talented, young, skillful, got an eye for goal, you're talking about 25 to 30 million pounds for him. You can't be dropping almost 3 times that amount on a similar profile, not profile of player, but a similar age profile, a similar talent who's not done it at the highest level yet. You can't be spending 3 times as much money on him. It'd be crazy. It'd be crazy.
No, and when we bought Sancho, he went to the German league and he was doing it for like 3-4 years there, and we got him for 72 million. Like I said, Antony, I would give him 55 to 60 million. At best, Terry, it'll be 60 million. Like, he's 60 million. I think 60 million is a fair price for an up-and-coming player.
And what people have also got to remember is, and this news has only just started coming out as part of the article with Goal Brazil that we've been quoting today, is there's somewhere in the region of about 20%. So about 20% of the fee goes to his previous club. So I think that's very, very, very significant, in my opinion, in terms of the direction, like what's going to happen, because Sao Paulo won around 20%. So
it's like
and interestingly, what can sometimes happen with these deals is they're never as basic as just 20%. There's always like stipulations to them. It might be 5%. What can sometimes happen is it might be a 5% sell on value if the player sold for under 10 million. It can be 10% if the player is sold between like 11 million and 35 million. And then it can be 20% if they're sold over that. Does that make sense? So there can be like stages to the percentage. The more they go for, the higher the percentage we want. Sometimes the other way around. It's a bigger percentage the lower the amount is, because obviously the clubs want more. They work in all these ways. The point I'm making, though, is Ajax are also going to try and drive that price up, because they're going to lose a large percentage. If it is 20% and they get 80 million for him, yeah, they're losing 16 million. So if they can raise the price by 16 million, they're getting what they wanted. And we've seen that on a number of deals this year. So it's important to remember that.
So this is the problem, Terry. This is why this deal won't go through, because this reminds me of the Carlos Tevez deal, where he's got ownership and this got ownership and that ownership. This is why this deal won't go through. I don't think this deal will ever go through, because there's always been interest, and Ten Hag has liked him, but there's never been like, oh, here we go, or we're close to getting him, or anything like that. It's just been, yeah, we like you, Ten Hag's a fan of you, he's coached you, and we do like you. That's about it. they probably Man United have made a bid, probably about 40 million, Terry, 45 million. But I don't see United coming back for like 100 million or 80 million, even a 70 million. No way, because that eats all of our budget.
Mate, I agree. I think it eats into a massive part.
As I said, De Jong or Antony, Terry. I'll go with De Jong.
Sorry?
I'll go with De Jong, Terry.
Yeah, mate, I did this. If the choice was
budget for
between
one,
the two,
go with De Jong.
yeah, I agree with you, mate. Mo, great call, my friend. Thanks for coming on.
Terry.
And hey, top
Bye.
man. Thank you. There's a comment here from Olu, who says, "Good morning, Terry. United should get both Antony and De Jong. After all, you are the biggest club in the world." That wasn't the question, though, was it? I love how people do that. The question from the caller was, if you had to choose between the two, who would you pick? I agree with you that we should go and get both. What Man United are struggling with is the fact that everybody's trying to stripe us for prices. Why are they trying to stripe us for prices? Because of what's happened. Now, what's interesting is we've already got a fee. We could get both, though. And what I mean by that is we've already agreed a fee for De Jong. I felt all along that if we sign De Jong, we'll still sign another player. The De Jong fee's done. The money's there for it. Let's just see what happens in the coming days on that one. Ajax need to pay 10% of their fee to the old club. Yeah, I read 20% this morning, my friend. But yeah, there's definitely a fee that's going to the other club. No doubt about it. Let's have a look. Andrew here says he's on about the team formed by United fans when the Glazers bought United. FC United. Fair enough. Let's have a little look here. I don't think De Jong will leave if he doesn't get his money. No, I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. He definitely doesn't leave if he doesn't get his money. There's no way he leaves without getting or some of his money. Yeah, without a doubt. Trouble with United fans, they fail to take into account that De Jong isn't the only player Barca owe money to. I agree. I think we all know that. We know that they owe, what is it, like 50 to 60 million to Gerard Piqué. I've read somewhere it's 80 million they owe to Lionel Messi. It's a madness how much money they actually owe to these players. It's actually, and that's why I like the agents out here talking about this being like almost fraudulent, if that makes sense. Almost fraudulent, because it's there's almost this kind of like feeling of, well, hang on a minute, how are you doing this? How are you actually charging this? How are you behaving this way? It's absolutely crazy. It is absolutely crazy what they're sort of talking about, and the way they're kind of what they're suggesting is an absolute sort of madness. Sorry, I'm just up checking something while we're talking. Sorry, people. I didn't mean to click. You know, sometimes you click on things, you're like, I didn't mean to click on that. But yeah, like it's a crazy one. What's this headline say? Oh, it says preseason over. I thought somebody said our season's already over. Yeah, interesting take indeed. Right, let's have a little look at some more of these comments coming through here. Terry, we need to get the owner to slap the cash. They have the money to spend. We must back our manager if it's a rebuild. The Glazers. I get that, but I think we've got to be careful. It's not about. There's so many elements of the rebuild that need to happen, and part of the rebuild is not continuing to overspend. Not continuing to, because what happens when you overspend? At some point, you run out of money, and I need people to understand that. If we spend, let's just say we do this now. Let's say, right, we can spend £30 million more on Antony than what's needed. Let's say we turn around to De Jong and say, listen, we'll pay you the £17 million you're owed. That's nearly £50 million that's gone. That's £50 million the club will never get back at all. Okay, that's out the coffers. If you did that 3 windows running, it's £150 million. Then what would happen is you'd have some players that want contract renewals. There'd be a new young superstar striker that's available, and we won't be able to afford him because we would have run out of money because we've hemorrhaged the whole way along. Sometimes you have to think long term rather than short term when it comes to building your team and building your squad. It's so important. It really, really is so important. In my opinion, anyway. That's just my take on it. Honestly, Terry, you can't replace Ronaldo until you have a viable world-class option at centre forward. Sesko is young and inexperienced. He's not going to be able to carry the team. Listen, I agree. And I think whenever you sign a young player, I would say 22 years of age and younger, if anybody, if the club are planning for that player to carry you and be your superstar and be your linchpin and talisman, it's a ridiculous notion. There's only been 1 or 2 football players in our lifetime at that age that have been good enough to do that. It's a rarity. The exceptions are not the rule. So absolutely right. And a player like him coming in, he'll play a lot of games. You know, he isn't a baby per se. You know, he's good with his physicality, he's good with his size. But to come in and go, right, we're signing him now. He's a baby. Really, he's 19. You know, he's only just turned 19. He won't turn 20 until the end of this season. So anybody that thinks, oh, this is it, he's a savior, he's absolutely right. He's off their head, but a good talent nevertheless. Young Tommy's here with us now. What are you saying, Tommy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, my friend. What do you want to say?
Right. Yeah, I think Frankie's more your priority. You have to, because obviously the Premier League's next week, so you have to hurry up and get him. And obviously Antony, you need both players. I think hopefully you definitely get both. And yeah, because you do need that defensive, that box to box midfielder. That obviously since Matic is gone, you do need him. So I think you definitely get him over the line, and you definitely get Antony. And can I ask you one more thing, Tel?
Yep.
The striker situations. Would you take Osherman or Felix? João Felix?
Of course, I'd take either of those players. I think they're much better than what we've got. I think João Felix, especially, there's huge talent there. Do I think are they attainable? Are they achievable? In my opinion, no. However, you look at Osherman as an example.
My Niger guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, but he's an interesting one because one of the clubs that's seemingly in for Ronaldo,
yeah,
is Napoli. So you look at a player like him and you think to yourself, well, maybe he could be the guy. Maybe there's a way of going, right, well, if you're going to get Ronaldo, you know, what space is there for Victor Osimhen in the sense of, I know you can play with two as an example, but they play the same. Maybe there's talk that the player wants to leave and come to the Premier League. So do you get where I'm coming from? There's almost,
I get where you're coming from, Tel.
There's almost an element of looking at that. I doubt it, but there's a chance. But I'd love both of them at Man United, but I just don't see it as being plausible. So there's what I would like to see happen, but then there's what's actually going to happen in reality. And I don't think you could kind of pull that off, if that makes sense.
And the football under Ten Hag, I was watching your game against Aston Villa preseason. I thought it's different. I thought the movement is good, the fluidity. I thought the pressing as well is really good, obviously. But there's still some obviously some sloppy mistakes and from you in it. But I think the football is definitely improved. I think you'll have a good season, and I think I can see you winning something. And I think you'll probably finish fifth. I wouldn't say top four, because obviously it's going to take Ten Hag time, 3 years to like rebuild and get you back into winning the Premier League again. But the football's improved, and hopefully definitely you have a good season. And obviously then you get the next week you can get the 3 points against a good Brighton team, because obviously you have to beat a good Brighton team next week. So obviously, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. Obviously, the Palace away, tough game. Hopefully we can get a win. Hopefully, I'm not sure because we don't really do well at Selhurst, but hopefully I'll take a 1-0 win over a good Crystal Palace team. So yeah, bring on the season, man.
There we go. Listen, young Tommy, top man for coming on and having your say. Man. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very, very much indeed. Thank you. What is this? Oh, there's a comment I wanted to read. It was an interesting one. It says, Terry, if the club lost £15 million on a player, we United fans is okay with it, but the Glazers take 31 million out of our club and club Terry, so losing 15 million on a player is nothing. Well, but it all is something. Neither are accepted. This is the thing. You don't need to polarize. You don't need to polarize those two things against each other. They're both wrong. The Glazers taking 31 million, wrong, in my opinion. Overspending on average £15 million per player is wrong, because you had two things together, and that's £46 million out the club. That should be you. Listen, don't even buy players with a 46 million. Let season ticket holders that have been going for more than 30 years going for free. Subsidize things, like make travel for fans free. Lower the price of MUTV by £1 a month. I don't know. Like, you could do something else with that money that's better than what we do with it. It could be utilized in so many. Make the food cheaper there. Give it to goddamn food banks. Do something. Do you get my point? Like, instead, though, like, it's not fun. Oh, well, the Glazers take it, so we might as well waste it there. I don't want to waste it anywhere. Now, I get your point. If we save money and there's more money, they may take more dividends. But then again, I told everybody before, there's a way of stopping the Glazers taking dividends out of Man United Football Club. It means people not spending their money. Listen, I want those new kits. Those new kits are nice. You ain't going to see me giving them any money, though. That ain't going to happen until they start behaving better. Terry, do you think you'll finish above Arsenal? I'm keeping my powder dry until next week about my predictions. Wait until next week, and then the predictions start. We've got a really big week ahead for you. Some really good content, some really good stuff. We're working with One Football on to bring you. So keep your eyes out for it. I'm very, very excited about next week and the build-up to the Premier League season. So I'm going to keep my powder dry on my predictions. Otherwise, it kind of ruins preview week. You know, I'm not gonna ruin things now and everything else. Plus, well, what we do is we're going to do pre-season predictions and then when the transfer window predictions, and we're going to kind of compare the two, merge them together, and then go for the season. But we're going to time capture it this year. We're going to hold people to account, really hold people to account with what their predictions are, what they've said, and stuff like that. Yeah, Alex here gets it right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Absolutely, you know, and you know, let's say we started saving money on transfers, getting people at market value, and then the club just took out more. The owners took out more dividends. There's part of me that wants that to happen in the sense of, well, hopefully it would expose more of these Man United fans to cancelling their season tickets, stop buying the shirts, stop buying the lunch boxes, and boycott and damage all sponsors. If you did that, you know, you could make change at your club so quickly. You know, the other energy went, you know, towards team viewer and the way they stopped the game from happening. If Man United fans did that for 4 or 5 games running, the Glazers would change their ways. Facts. They'd be forced to by the Premier League, by the TV companies, by the sponsors, by the local police. They'd be forced to change. Not quite literally forced, but listen, you sort this out or you're in bits, you're in trouble. You know, you're not going to get anything. Like sometimes you've got to break things to fix them. You know, you got to break them all down just to be able to get the best out of them. Is my view anyway. That's my view. A lot of people ask me about Thomas Partey. Look, I might be talking about it later. I've got to read through. Last night I had the evening off. I didn't actually work last night for the first evening in about 3 months. I haven't worked. I actually just took some time out. I didn't go on my phone. I didn't go on Twitter. I didn't read anything. I think there might have been some scheduled tweets that went out, but they weren't me in the moment. So I don't really know what's going on. I've seen things, but I need to look at it properly. So I don't know what's been said. I don't know what, you know, someone sent me a message going, oh, it looks like it's the same stuff as Greenwood. I don't know if it's that severe. I don't know any, I don't think it is. I've not seen any video footage or pictures or anything like that. So I think that's a nonsense. People have got to calm down, but I'm not going to pass judgment on anything until I've read it and seen it and stuff like that. So maybe a little bit later that will be spoken about, but we will see. Nearly 500 liked, people. Let's get that up. You guys have slowed down on the gifting stuff recently. I don't get it. Why don't you guys want the free memberships? Trust me, you're going to love the membership content for the season. It's going to be great. We are going to get beat today again. Is what Chelsea playing? What time are Chelsea playing today? See, I don't take preseason too seriously. I've obviously watched United's games. I watched Chelsea versus Arsenal. What time are Chelsea playing? I'm going to look at international friendlies. What time is that on? Oh, it's 8 o'clock tonight. Fair enough. Against Udinese. Oh, I might give that a little watch. Give that a little watchy watch. That sounds good to me. Have a little watch. See what's being said. Spurs to win the World Cup. That's a weird thing to say. That's a weird comment. It's a strange comment, my old mate. What does it even mean? Ah, Pav. What are you saying, Pav?
I was like, how you doing, man?
I'm good. You?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, there's some madness going on Twitter from yesterday, but other than that, it's all good. But yeah, I kind of missed the show for the first little bit, but I just wanted to talk about Antony, really.
Yeah, what are you saying?
The price that was quoted, man, I said to you before, he's not worth it. What the Ajax journalists are saying, I think it was the European lad and Mike Burway, something about 100 mil. We shouldn't be paying 100 mil euros for someone from Ajax. No club would be paying 100 mil for someone who's had one, I'd say, good season. He's not really proven. For Antony, that's a lot of money. I'm not sure what other targets are out there, but we shouldn't be going for him. I mean, I'd rather wait till next season. I know, like, at the start, I was like, I want these players in quick and all that, but we wasted a lot of time with this Frankie stuff.
Mm.
And now we're like, we're having to bear the brunts of what we've done. So, like, a lot of clubs are now demanding a lot more money, even with the Frankie stuff. Like, I feel sorry for the guy, man. Honestly, it's hilarious what's happening with Barcelona, but what they're doing to that guy, like Gary Neville was right. That guy should be suing the heck out of them lot. I don't think that deal's going to happen either. I think it's got to a point where there's too many stories every single day. One story's, oh, he's going to take a pay cut. The following day, nah, he's not taking no pay cut. Another day, he prefers to play a centre back position. Xavi likes him there. I don't know what's going on with him. It's just too much.
Pav, they're doing to him exactly what I said they would do to him. Do you remember a few weeks ago when they were talking about he isn't going to take a pay cut? But Barca either say stay and take a pay cut, or you're going to leave. And I was asking that question of journalists. Well, what happens if he stays without a pay cut? What would happen? And it was like, oh no, that Xavi loves him. It's all going to be great. It hasn't been great. They've done nothing but disrespect him since that point. There was, he might not go on tour. Now he's a centre back. Every interview, Xavi's like, yeah, we love him, but financial situations dictate. They're signing people with the money they owe him. Like that. I knew this disrespect was going to come. And equally, this is one of the reasons why this whole nonsense of, well, why should anybody sign him when he doesn't really want to leave, has been taken so out of context all summer. Yes, he said that he wants to stay at the football club and it's where he's dreamed of playing. But he was never going to retire if he left. And they are forcing him out the club. They're doing everything they can legally to force him out, because the deferred wages is very key. The deferred wages don't work like the way they work is this. It isn't like the money was stored each week in a bank account. He's owed a lump sum payment. They are spreading that £17 million across a number of seasons, so it gets added to his wages per month. Does that make sense? So theoretically, they're doing nothing wrong, and within the contracts, the clauses stipulate that if you're sold or to put a transfer request or break certain rules, you'll forfeit that money. But the point is, De Jong isn't pushing for this move. They're looking to push him out, and he's essentially saying, "This is how it feels to me. I'm happy to go if you don't want me, but I deferred that money to help you. I want some of it. Otherwise, I won't go." And I think that for me is the base of all of this. Will it? I think what they're going to end up doing is a compromise. I think if they offer him somewhere like 12 to 13 million pounds, I think he'll leave. Personally, I think he'll go, fine, let me just move on with my life now because this has become crazy. But we'll see. Pav, great call.
Just before I go, I just wanted to touch on Ronaldo quickly as well.
Yeah, go on, mate.
The other day I said, it was on another channel. I said, we must be the only club to try force keep I know he's Ronaldo, but we're trying to force keep a 37-year-old who doesn't want to be here. I don't think there's been a club in football history who are trying to keep a 37-year-old footballer at their club. Like, I know it's Ronaldo, but I know what Ronaldo's trying to do. I think it makes sense now. Like, I think he has got a couple of clubs that are interested in him, but I think they're trying to get Ronaldo to leave on a free so they don't have to pay for a fee for him. Kind of makes sense. That's why, like, Bayern are saying we don't want to break our rules, and Atletico Madrid are saying the same. But the whole Ronaldo situation, I'm never gonna like turn on him. There's a lot of people who are turning on him, sitting in his spaces, snaking him, and everything. But it is what it is, because that's what our club's become. Like, we're not that top club anymore, and it's going to take a while before we get to that point again. And keeping someone like Ronaldo who doesn't want to be here, it's just like, for me, it's just going to disrupt like the squad. It's going to disrupt like the fans as well. It's like, I know like the club probably wants the money back for him, but at the end of the day, is it worth it? Like, if he's not happy, like all the stuff that he's gone through over the year as well, just let the man go. Like, why are we trying to keep hostage a 37-year-old footballer, man? I've never seen this happen with a club, like, as long as I've been alive. But yeah, just on that, that's my thoughts on Ronaldo, man. Like, I'd rather him go. No hard feelings. I'm never going to snake him. And I'm sure, like, I know you've said, like, obviously we need to act a bit more proper with it. Like, obviously take control, but just let the man go. He don't want to be here, so we just have to move forward.
Mate, I hear you on that completely. I really, really do. Brother, I appreciate you coming on and having your say. Top man.
Cool,
Thank
man.
you very much indeed. And I think the Ronaldo situation, we'll see what comes out in the end with it in terms of... I want to make sure I word this in the right way. In terms of like... How do I say this? Whether United are begging for him to stay because we're not going to buy anybody else, whether or not we're just trying to get our money for him, who knows? It's all going to come out in the wash, but certainly intriguing. Listen, people, make sure you're smashing the like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Back later today with more content for you. Straight facts on the way as well this afternoon. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon.